the day before.
Last
and the day
week,
before.
and the week before,
and the day before.
and the week before.
And the day
Last
before.
year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year
The day before.
and the year
And the
before.
before.
How far back can you remember?
How far back does it go?
Can you remember yesterday?
Last year, 10 years ago?
Do you remember the day you were born? Do you?
But we must go back further.
Your parents, grandparents, before.
Before the city you lived in existed.
Before the country you lived in existed.
Before the things you think of as ancient existed.
Before muskets and powdered wigs.
Before castles and knights.
Before plagues and cathedrals.
Before barbarians and Romans. Before.
When all that you know had yet to happen.
In that silence before.
Sophocles wrote a play.
This play has existed longer than anything you know.
It was ancient to Shakespeare and Newton.
It was ancient to Cleopatra and Caesar.
It was ancient to Christ and Muhammad.
It spoke to all of them and speaks to you today.
How? How can something so old?
2,450 years old.
How can it speak today?
How can it still mean anything?
It speaks still because it speaks the truth.
The truth.
The truth.
The truth, and truth is eternal.
Truth, like gold, cannot rust.
Truth like gold cannot tarnish.
Truth like gold is precious from age to age to age.
It speaks of the poison of power.
And the triumph of love.
And the arrogance of authority.
And the passion of youth.
It says that adults are often wrong.
And that you are often right.
It says that you can change the world.
Although the cost is great.
It tells us the truth is eternal.
We invoke you, Zeus and Athena.
Invoke you, Dionysus.
In the words of those who believe,
Invoke your story and your song.
Be with us now as you were there in Greece.
2,000 years ago.
It is dawn.
In Thebes.
and a dead body lays on the ground.
Ismene? Oh, come on, you said you'd be here. Ismene? Where are you?
I'm up. It's 6 a.m. What is wrong with you, Antigone?
I was worried you wouldn't come.
You're crazy. You know that, right? My sister is a crazy person.
Don't joke, our brothers are dead.
You know that. You think I don't know that? It's 6 a.m. for God's sake.
For God's sake, yes, exactly.
You told me to meet you here. I'm here. Now what's going on?
Did you see what our aunt did? What Creon did?
Official announcement, declaration of martial law.
Our brother Antigone will be buried with full honors while our other brother,
Polynices will be left unburied and unmourned, left to rot in the sunshines, to be eaten by dogs and rats and vultures.
He was our brother!
Who died in battle, killing our other brother.
They were both guilty, each shot by the other, the triggers pulled at the same time, fighting over the crown, over the stupid crown, over power. Why did they need power?
Aunt Creon's a better ruler anyway. She's rational. She's organized.
She said that if anyone buries Polynices, they'll be put to death.
Yes.
Our brother whose soul will not rest unless he's buried as the gods demand.
Creon has a point. Polynices was invading the city, blowing up buses, buildings. He was a terrorist. He's buried. There will be other attacks.
But it's not fair. When Dad died and Creon took over, Creon said that when our brothers turned 18, they would share the power.
Yes, I know this, Antigone. It's 6 a.m.
And when Antigone took the throne last year, he was supposed to give it to Polynices this year. He didn't. He wouldn't step down. He broke his word. He started it.
He started it? Antigone, they're not third graders. People died because of Polynices.
People died on both sides. That's how war works.
An example has to be made. There will always be someone with a bomb unless they see the consequences, see his body rotting there. See it.
I see.
Do you?
So you're not going to help me.
What do you mean?
Our brother's soul will never rest. The gods themselves will turn their noses away from the stench of his corpse if we leave him unburied.
What do you mean, we?
Well, who else is going to do it?
You can't mean you want to bury him.
Why else would I have asked you to meet me here?
Antigone, no, this isn't a joke.
You're right.
I know you loved Polynices. I know he was your favorite.
No, I loved Antigone more. Polynices was horrible to me, but he was my brother.
The sentence is death. You know Creon. She doesn't play around.
You won't help me.
I mean, she probably wouldn't have you killed since you're her niece, but she would definitely have you put in prison, arrested.
No, she'll have me killed. She loves the law more than she loves me, more than she loves anyone.
Don't you love the law? Don't you love our city? Don't you love the peace and the prosperity that the law has made?
The law serves the people, not the other way around. An unjust law should be overthrown, even if it makes some people peaceful and prosperous.
Those are very nice words, Antigone, but we're talking about prison. We're talking about death, even.
And that is why I'm going to stop talking and do something.
Why us? Why does it always have to be us? Why is our family always in the crosshairs?
We are the house of Atreus, the royal family of Thebes.
First, our father, Oedipus the Great, Oedipus the King, Oedipus the blind and the stupid and the exiled. Our mother who killed herself when she learned our father's true identity. Now our brothers, dead by the other's hand. Our birth was a catastrophe, and we've been dogged by suffering ever since. Why should we invite more pain? Haven't we done enough?
Right, I understand.
Antigone, please.
No, I'm not mad. You're right. We have had a very hard life. We have mourned the loss of our mother, wandered exiled with our blind father, lived through war and chaos. We shouldn't have to suffer anymore.
Thank you. Thank you for understanding.
So I'll do it myself.
Antigone, no, that's
I
not...
don't need your help. I can carry a shovel and say the prayers on my own. I can die on my own.
You won't.
I will. I know Creon as well as you do, and I will rest with both my brothers, sinless in my crime, for I owe a longer allegiance to the dead than to the living.
Listen to yourself. All these words, just words.
Not for long.
Think of Haman. Haman, he loves you.
I can't think of him. I'm not strong enough to face leaving him too.
Listen, I am older than you. I'm smarter than you. You were always impulsive and patient.
Then make an argument. Please, explain to me why a brother's soul should be left to wander eternally. Eternally. Explain to me why fairness and love and the will of the gods themselves should be thrown under the wheels of the government. Please, explain it to me. Give me a reason. Do you think I want to die?
Antigone, I'm so sorry, Antigone.
Bye. It's me. Please, don't tell anyone. They'll find out soon enough.
You don't have to do this.
I do, though. I do.
His meaning was right.
Their family has suffered more than any other.
Maybe even heard of their suffering.
Echoing down for thousands of years.
Their father, Oedipus, one only.
Killed his father and married his mother.
Ew! These very symbols asking questions
Who eventually learned the truth?
and stabbed out his own eyes in horror.
Who wandered, exiled for the rest of his life, guided by his daughters Ismene and Antigone.
His sons, Polynices and Eteocles, couldn't be bothered.
They were too busy fighting for power. For the kingdom of Thebes that now lacked a ruler, they were too young to rule. So their aunt, Creon, took over.
Creon loves order
He worships peace and quiet.
and under her rule the passion of Oedipus.
Was replaced by calm and rigor.
The streets are clean and chains are untied.
She made a plan.
When the sons of Oedipus were old enough, Eteocles would take the crown.
For a year. 1 year.
Then it would go to Polynices. Then back to Eteocles, 1 year at a time.
Clean and organized.
But after his year of control, Eteocles learned to love power.
More than justice.
He refused to give up the crown. Polynices was the Argive army, the ancient enemies of Thebes. With them, he planned a campaign of terror.
Which turned into all-out war.
And then, just yesterday morning,
Eteocles and Polynices,
Shot each other through the heart.
their aim was the only thing they ever shared.
Creon again has taken the crown.
And the terrible task of rebuilding the city.
Her first action was to bury Eteocles
To uphold the honor of the crown.
and to let Polynices rot. Unburied.
Ew!
A warning to all who graves.
Arms and sleeves.
So the gods were watching.
Zeus, Athena, Dionysus.
Those we didn't know.
They have said a body must be buried.
A soul must be put to rest.
The gods watched, hating Creon for loving quiet more than truth.
True.
True.
Truth. And just as Oedipus suffered,
For going against their will.
so too will Creon suffer.
Soon.
But first, someone else must suffer.
Haman, her only son, only 17,
He loves Antigone.
Loves her as deeply.
as only a 17-year-old man.
She is everything to him, and she is about to say goodbye.
Oh, Antigone, there you are. Didn't you get my text? It's been crazy here all morning. I had these dreams last night. It was horrible. Antigone?
I'm here.
What's wrong, Antigone? You're crying.
I'm going to be crying for a while.
Why? What?
Except, I don't think I have that much time left to cry.
Thank you for coming out this morning. I know a press conference seems so pointless after the atrocities of the last 2 months, but it is precisely these simple, mundane things I hope we can get back to now that Polynices and the Argive army have been defeated. And while we mourn our great young leader, Teocles, I know he'd want us to move on with the process of rebuilding Thebes. To that end, it is with a heavy and reluctant heart that I take up the crown.
I know you're hurting. I know you loved your brothers.
My brothers were petty warmongers that got off playing with their guns and their bombs. They were spoiled brats that never learned to share. They should never have been let out of kindergarten.
Then what's wrong?
They're still dead, aren't they?
What do you want me to say?
My family is dead. Mother, father, brothers. All I have left is Ismene, and she hates me.
Hates you? She loves you.
Not now.
What do you mean?
Have you ever had to do something that you didn't want to do, didn't think you could do?
Yes, I think so.
And then you find out that you can do it, only it's worse than you thought it would be, worse than you thought it could be.
Antigone, please. You're not making any sense. You're worrying me.
I'm sure you all understand how difficult it was for me to leave my own nephew, the traitor, unburied, to declare martial law, soldiers on every corner, the police, and riot gear. I hate that Thebes has come to this even more than you, but I am confident that a strong hand now will secure the future for all of us. Such are the rules by which I guard the city's greatness.
It's horrible what my mom's been doing. I mean, she's always been cold, but leaving your brother unburied? Then a death sentence?
Please don't talk about it. Just hold me.
Do you believe it about gods and souls? Do you believe your brother's soul,
Yes. I have seen the gentle bow of Iris at dawn. I have seen the terror of Zeus's lightning. I have known love and laughter and beauty, and there is something more than mortal about these things. I wish there weren't, but I feel the presence of greatness, and it says that there's a job that must be done, no matter the cost, no matter... Hold me.
Now, are there any questions from the press?
Are you aware that body Polynices has been buried?
What?
It's already on the news! Everyone will see it.
What?
Antigone, your hands are dirty. Why?
That is not possible. There were guards stationed.
I love you. Have I ever told you that?
No, not the words.
Video from the early morning hours shows dirt heaped on the corpse. Not much, a few handfuls of soil.
I love you.
What did you do?
Oh, you made me nervous there. Surely that's just the work of wild dogs or rats, a natural process.
But it was strewn in the patterns and places consistent with the holy burial.
That is not possible. I declare I made it law. Law. If anyone
But
touches
the body
corpse,
was laid out, the arms were crossed in pose of rest.
that they would be put to death.
What did you do?
He was so cold. I thought there would be blood, but it had all drained away or congealed her. He was so cold.
Comments on the video that this is the will of the gods.
The gods. You think that Zeus came
A
down?
miraculous intervention.
Zeus, what you're saying, Zeus came down to bury him? What, as a reward for his loyal service? Polynices, who came to burn his shrines, steal his sacred treasures, scatter his loves to the winds? The gods would reward that?
We'll run away. We'll pack our so we got before my mom finishes the press conference.
No! We're only reporting what some people are saying.
Then some people do not deserve the right to speak. This, do you see, this is what brings your nation to its knees. To suggest that the gods honor the wicked, the gods protect the betrayer. I know the will of the gods. Listen to me.
We can get away.
And she'll do it again. She'll desecrate the corpse.
She'll do it anyway.
And she'll do worse in the future.
She'll do it anyway.
And someone needs to stand up to her now.
No, this was no act of the gods. This was an act of betrayal, of cowardly betrayal.
I started the journey. Now I have to finish it.
And I tell you this now, my friends.
If I run away, it's as if I never buried him at all.
I will find the criminal,
I did the act.
and there will be consequences.
consequences.
Antigone, please. I love you.
No more questions.
I love you.
Don't. Please don't say that. Don't make this harder.
I'm trying to save you. I won't stop trying to save you.
It's too late. I promise it's too late.
She's right. Because this isn't a regular story.
This is a tragedy.
And a tragedy has rules.
A tragedy is not a story where bad things happen.
It is a story where what must happen
gods lay out the path.
And there is no fighting it.
It only gets worse if you fight it.
We march from point A to B to C.
Zeus, Athena, Dionysus.
Those we invoke to spare their wrath,
It is a machine,
Ceaseless and unchanging.
gleaming and well-oiled.
in perfect order since time began.
It is not messy.
Sadness is messy.
Unpredictable.
The hero might have done this.
The villain might have done that.
It might have been okay after all.
No,
There are no minds in tragedy.
There is no escape.
there is no escape. The path is set. The machine is oiled and ready.
The path is determined. There is no escape, no choice you can make would matter.
The machine is patient. It needs not rush. You'll see it soon. There is no escape.
But there is a moment when, if you're smart, you realize this is no mere melodrama. This is a tragedy. And the moment you realize, you are free.
Because there is no hope.
You will die.
Or if not to die,
Then something worse than death.
There is no hope.
You cannot change it.
And because you can't,
you need not bargain.
You need not beg,
you can be brave as you never were.
for the worst has already happened. No.
You can't stop it.
So you say those things you never did.
Not because they will save you.
Nothing so petty as that.
You say these things because they must be said.
No more whimpering, no more tears.
You shout and scream the dead truth.
The machine is perfect.
Ceaseless and unchanging.
And you are not.
In the heart of the machine.
What have you done?
I buried my brother.
What have you done?
I posted the pictures. I told Polynices. I told Thebes that Polynices has been buried. It's amazing what you can say in 140 characters.
Any idea what you've done?
Do leaders become masters of this world by continually repeating themselves?
I'm sorry, I lost my temper.
I didn't know you had a temper. You always look so calm on TV.
Prideful little brat. You thought what? Thought I wouldn't do it? Wouldn't put you to death? It's the law, Antigone, the law.
No, I knew you would put me to death.
Well, I have to now. After what you've done, broadcasting it to the whole world, everyone knows now. Everyone sees. It will be the end of the government if I look weak.
Is that all that keeps the state running? How calm you look?
Or no, wait. If you take it back, repent on television. We'll hold a press conference. You'll explain you were confused.
No!
Trying to save you. Don't you see, you ungrateful child? It was the law.
Did Zeus write the law? Did Athena, Dionysus?
Gods. You bring up the gods now.
I bring up what I believe.
It shows just how foolish you are. Nothing more than a child.
I'm 16.
A child, caught up with things so far beyond your years. Listen, Antigone, listen. Whatever you believe, I have a nation to run. I have taxes to raise, people to feed, a war to rebuild from. These are real things. These are things that must be done.
Must they?
Just like your father, a romantic. But let me tell you, running a nation isn't romantic. It isn't about ideas and ideals. It's about numbers and spreadsheets and polls. It's about getting things done, even if it's ugly, even if you have to cut corners. It's a job like any other job, and someday you'll understand that.
I don't want to understand that.
Child. And I'm your aunt after all, even if we are not the most affectionate family. I'll call the press conference and explain. You'll issue an apology. You can still spin this. I'm sorry I slapped you there.
You're going to do worse.
What do you mean?
You're going to put me to death because I'm not going to apologize. I did nothing wrong.
I'm trying to help you. I want to help you.
I don't want you to help me. I want you to bury my brother. And if you will not, then I will die.
Why? Why do you believe all that religious nonsense? You think what? There's some afterlife, some theme park in the sky Polynices won't get into unless you sprinkle dirt on his body?
Sounds stupid when you say it like that.
It is stupid, monstrously stupid. Look, I know these so-called priests, how they go through the motions without caring, shoveling dirt to the grave while they think about dinner, saying the prayers like a grocery list. It's nothing. An empty show. You want to throw away your life over that?
If it's so meaningless, then why don't you let him be
It
buried?
matters to the superstitious rabble I try to govern. It matters to the religious zealots of the Argive army.
Then maybe it matters to Polynices.
He's dead.
Maybe it even matters to the gods. They say it
The
does.
gods are not here. They are not a part of my government.
What else isn't a part of your government? Justice, maybe? Fairness? How about truth?
Of course they have a place, but when you grow up, if you grow up and open your eyes, you'll see that they are just luxuries. Nice things to have, yes, but simply too costly to have every day.
No, they're the only things we exist for.
Spoken like a child. When you grow up,
I do not need to grow up.
teenagers, always so full of ideals. But eventually, when you see the way the world really works, you're so smart. Someday you're going to make a real difference, but for now,
No, we do not need to wait. That's the lie you've been telling us all our lives. We don't need a degree or a job or a driver's license even. We only need to know the truth. You say, wait, there's no reason to wait. You keep putting off the world. Well, we live in the world too. We love and hate and die just like you, and we can stop you. All the foolish teenagers with their cell phones and their ideals.
What you're talking about is a rebellion.
Yes, finally I can say yes to you. Yes, a rebellion.
Antigone, this is serious.
So long you've kept the tools all to yourself. No more. You can't make us silent anymore. I open my mouth and 1,000 voices carry it. As long as I speak the truth, I can never be made silent. No, not even in death.
You want a revolution? Haven't we had enough revolution, enough blood in the streets of my city? Don't you want peace?
Not at the cost of justice.
But it's not a question of justice, it's all just politics. Don't you understand? Your brothers, the burial, the armies, all just politics. No one believed any of it. It's just what has to be done to keep the peace.
So you admit it's wrong.
Admit it? Of course, I'm not an idiot. I don't like it any more than you.
It's wrong and you do it anyway.
I have to.
How strange. I don't have to do things I think are wrong. I don't have to sell out and you call yourself a queen.
Someone has to do it. Someone has to take control or there's war and bloodshed, just as there was under Teocles. Someone has to say, okay, I'll give up my right to what's good and pure. I'll turn my eyes away from the truth if that's what's necessary. It's a terrible price, but someone has to do it.
And we both have jobs we don't want to do.
Don't you see? Whatever you do, I'll just undo it, and you will be dead, and you won't be able to stop me.
And somebody else will do it. That's the funny thing about truth. Truth is like gold. It can't rust, and it can't tarnish, and it can buy even the weakest of hearts.
I think you underestimate what guns can do.
Your guns haven't stopped me yet. There will be others.
You have great faith in this idealistic rabble of yours, but I wonder how brave they'll be when they see you killed. It's easy enough to send a tweet or like a status and think you're involved in something, but when it comes time to take action, get out of the chair, I wonder how many of your friends will do anything more than scroll through their feed and shake their heads.
I don't know. I'm taking action. They may too.
That's a risk you're willing to take, that they'll rise up when they see your body rotting in the sun next to your brother's? When your soul, if you believe so much in such things, is trapped and haunted just as his, you're willing to risk it, to wager your immortal soul on the bravery of a bunch of kids?
I guess we'll find out.
Aren't you afraid it will backfire, that your death will only make them more afraid, drive them farther back?
Creon, you don't understand. All of these arguments, I'm not doing this as a means to an end. I'm not doing this because if I do X, then Y will happen and Z will follow. I'm doing it because it's right. That's all, and the consequence is death.
You are your father's daughter, just like him. You think you're being brave when all you are is prideful, blind, just like him.
My father saw things that you can never see with your eyes so low, so focused on your bottom lines, on your poll numbers.
All right, I would have you killed if that's what you want so bad. But first, you will see. Yes, by the rod, you will see. You will see the truth you are so willing to die for. You will see the truth about your brothers.
I know already. You think I don't? Polynices was a murderer. Terrorist. He deserved to die, I know. There are probably 100 people alive right now because he died yesterday. I know. Isn't it strange how it doesn't matter to me?
Why then? Why?
Can't you imagine a life that is more than tit for tat, more than he poked me so I'll poke him, he scratched my back so I'll scratch his? Can't you imagine, just imagine, a life in which people do things not because of what they get out of them, but because they are right, because they must be done. The gods have said that a man must be buried, not just to save his soul, but because it is right. I would do it whether or not he was my brother. I would do it whether or not he's the most twisted criminal of thieves, because not to do it is to be just as wrong as he was.
Such fine words. Be someone great someday.
I'm not interested in greatness, and I won't have it someday.
But that's not what I was going to say. You knew Polynices was a crook. Fine. Everybody knows that. The bloodshed he brought to Thebes, everyone. But what you don't know is that Antigone was just as bad. I have the proof. I have seen the documents that he was planning on selling out Thebes to the highest bidder himself. He'd have gladly handed over the keys of the city to the Argive army too if they had been willing to pay enough.
But you gave him a hero's burial, a state funeral.
He bragged to me, bragged about how he tried to hire assassins to have his brother killed before he rebelled. He had no intention of sharing the throne.
But you...
Oh, that's not even the worst of it. Those weren't the only killers he tried to hire. He tried to have your father killed too while he wandered, blind, exiled. Tried to have me killed as well, I expect. But the thugs he had hired were just as ineffective as anything else the spoiled brat tried his hand at. I'm only alive now because of his incompetence.
But you buried him in a marble vault next to my father and mother.
Of course I did. I had to make a hero out of one of them. There would be civil war and chaos otherwise. There must always be a villain and a hero or the state falls apart. People need to know what side to be on. They can't choose for themselves.
Why did you tell me this?
That's not even the worst of it if you care about such things. Both of them, violent, cowardly children, they had the biggest guns they could get their hands around. Shot off each other's faces, blew their bodies apart. There's barely enough left for one funeral, let alone two. And I certainly couldn't tell which was which. So
We wrapped up the corpse that was in slightly better condition, settled the tape, please, and buried him in your family's tomb. I have no idea if it was his body or colonizing, and I assure you I don't care.
Why did you tell me this?
To save you, do you think I could kill a child? I'm not a monster. You see, this is what you wanted to die for that pair of heartless crooks.
I don't know anymore.
Sorry, Antigone.
Is no one pure? Is the whole world corrupt?
Yes, it is. That's what I'm sorry for. Our world is rotten at the core. So we must be a little rotten too to make any good of it. The best we can hope for is to be a little less corrupt than those around us. Those days, those storied days when men could be good, those days are long gone if they existed at all.
No one. I have no one.
Listen, I'll help you. We all bend the law for our own purposes. Just once I can bend it for you.
I always loved you best, and Haman loves you.
Haman, why Haman?
Run away, go with him, leave now. Go south, cross the border into Athens. They'll welcome you there.
Haman.
I'll hold off the search until I know you're safe. There's a lot of bureaucracy I can use to slow it down and still look like I'm trying to catch you. Go, you can disappear down there. There'll be a trial here, you'll be burned in effigy, all that, but you'll be safe. Safe with your love. Go, you can forget all of this.
I'll forget.
But yes, I'll call Haman. Forget. Don't think about the past. Think about the future. The future you were going to give up.
Future. Sitting with Haman, growing up, growing old.
Yes, good.
Except,
What?
what would he think? Would he still love me if I did this?
Of course he would.
Would I still be worth his love, worth anything if I sold out for something as cheap as happiness?
What are you saying?
I'm asking, when does it stop? If I pay now, when can I say, enough, never, not until I bankrupt my soul?
Taking to be reasonable.
This is reasonable, isn't it? I should know the cost, so tell me, with your spreadsheets and your bottom lines, what is the cost? What sins must I commit? What lies must I tell you? Is me to Haman to myself?
I only want you to live and be happy.
No, for your happiness is the opposite of life. Your happiness is death. Thank the gods I see it now. You almost won. You almost made me forget, but I will never forget.
Stop it.
I will not
Stop it.
shouting
Stop
at
it.
I will
Stop
not
it. Take her away. Take her away. Shut her up. Take her away.
That's why
I am the ruler of the
truth is the way when it comes to take her away in order to take you all your happiness.
There is no escape. The path is set. There is no escape. The path is set. The machine is oiled and ready. No
What are you
escape.
doing, Creole? Listen to me.
This is what had to be. The law is the law.
Mother.
You'll regret this, Creon.
She'll regret it. She'll repent. When she sees I'm serious, she'll back down.
Mother, please, I love her.
The will of the gods is unmoving. Zeus, Athena, Dionysus, they are patient. They cannot be defeated.
Am I not ruler in Thebes?
Mother.
The very cause for going against the gods, as Oedipus, as his daughter.
You will not be silent. I will have you silenced. You don't know how hard my job is. You don't know.
Why are you?
Son, I'm sorry.
Why?
I'm not a tyrant. I am not an unreasonable woman. You don't know how hard my job is. The kingdom.
What have you done?
Not long ago, I asked that same question, and now you've come to scream at me too. My own son.
What did you do?
Sent Antigone to die.
You actually did.
Sorry, I know you loved her.
She's your niece.
I am not a tyrant. I'm not an unreasonable woman.
She's 16.
She threatened a rebellion. She'd undo everything that I tried to make. Peace, safety.
She married her brother.
She spoke against me,
Is that what you're afraid of? People speaking against you because she's not the only one.
including my own son.
Yes.
I tried so often to reach you, but I've never known how.
And it's not just me. Hundreds of people, thousands, they're coming out into the streets. Are you going to kill them all?
Some are coming out, yes, I'm sure some are, but more are with me, I promise you, son. More people want clean streets and a full refrigerator than want some phantom of justice.
All right then, bring it to the people. Ask them.
The people can't be trusted to know what's best for them.
And you say you're not a tyrant.
Listen, for 2 months now, there have been bombs and machine gun fire in my city. I love this city. I love Thebes. Love her more than you ever thought you loved Antigone, I promise you. I've seen her torn apart, and now with the death of those two thugs, I thought we might finally heal again. But now that damn girl threatens to reopen all the wounds that were just starting to close.
She's doing what she thinks is right. You told me to do what I thought was right. That's how you raised me.
There's right and wrong, yes, and then there's what's practical. Sometimes that's even more important.
I don't believe
It
that.
doesn't matter what you believe, it doesn't matter what she believes, it matters what I believe. Why must I spend every hour explaining myself to children? I have a nation to run.
Of course.
I'm sorry, though. I want to listen to you, I do.
Does it have to be death?
Anything else and it will appear I'm favoring her because she's to my niece. It will look like I'm bending the law for myself.
It's what the people desire too. Look out your window.
The law can't be bent or the nation will collapse. As long as she stands against me, she must die or the state will fall.
People seem to think that a state that would murder a girl for burying her brother ought to fall.
No, nothing is worth that. Nothing is worth the war and the bloodshed. There's a day, Haman, and maybe that day has come for you to let go of the tinfoil dreams you had as a child and take up the hard realities of being a man.
A man? A man. Is that what you want me to be, Mother? Does a man kill a teenager?